In summary. First, Hu Jintao arrived on site of the illegitimate 20th Party Congress, the so-called Congress of People's Representatives. Earlier, Xi Jinping gave Hu Jintao, who handed over power to Xi, at the 18th Party Congress, a candidate list of the new Politburo Standing Committee, which was supposed to be voted on that day. There are only two important agendas at the 20th Party Congress: to vote for a new Central Committee of the CCP and a new Central Commission for Discipline Inspection. After Hu Jintao arrived on site, he found out that his list was different from the one to be voted on. Hu Chunhua was not on the list. Neither was Wang Qishan. Nor was Han Zheng. All of them were on the original list, given to Hu. They were supposed to stay, with respective positions. But at that moment, they were no longer on the list. All of them were replaced with Xi's clique. Hu Jintao said, "Excuse me Xi, how could you do this? This is not what it's supposed to be." Hu then said, "You gave me a different list." At that moment, Wang Huning, Li Jianshu, and Han Zheng were all making moves. Han Zheng, who sat nearby, was the first one to rush over to take a look at Hu's version of the list. While he was looking at Hu's version of the list, Hu Jintao took out a piece of paper and said, "I have a few words to say," and then tried to grab Xi Jinping's microphones. Xi pushed his microphones away from Hu so that Hu would not be able to touch it. At the same time, the microphones were muted. At this moment, Han Zheng, and Wang Qishan, who was nearby, and Wang Yang, who was sitting close to Wang, all attempted to stand up and take a look at Hu's list, but they were stopped by Xi Jinping. "Sit down." People nearby also stopped Han Zheng. "Han Zheng, sit down." At this moment, when all people sat down, she ordered Kong Xiaosun, the vice director of CCP's general office, "Come over here. Escort Comrade Jintao out." Kong Xiaosun came over and asked Hu Jintao to turn right and leave. You can see from Kong's hand gesture, pointing to the right in the previous picture. Hu Jintao refused and said, "I want to say something." At this moment, Li Jianshu reached out to grab Hu's document folder and take it away from Hu, then Wang Huning stashed the document under the table. At this moment, Xi Jinping told Kong Xiaosun, "Bring the bodyguard here. Take him out of here." At this moment, while Li Jianshu and Hu Jintao were scrambling for the document, Kong Xiaosun asked Hu to leave, but did not succeed. Then the bodyguard arrived and took Hu's glasses away from him. Hu Jintao sustained injuries in both eyes due to the plateau radiation when he was in Tibet. When his glasses were taken away, Hu literally became blind. Meanwhile, Li Jianshu handed the document over to the bodyguard. At that moment, Li Jianshu was stepping on Hu Jintao's foot because he was afraid that Hu Jintao would stand up. Li was trying to stop Hu from moving. Then came the bodyguard. Kong Xiaosun then pulled aside the chair. The bodyguard held Hu's arm as if he was kidnapping Hu, and said to Hu, "Make a left, and I will lead you to the podium at the front so that you can make a speech." Hu Jintao was very calm, but he was stopped when he was trying to grab the page that was pulled from the file that was taken away. That file was given to him before the meeting containing the names of the Politburo Standing Committee members, and the elected members of the Central Commission for Discipline Inspection that didn't match the ones provided on site. Before that grab, Hu Jintao attempted to take the name list of candidates provided on site that Xi Jinping held in his hands. Xi Jinping stopped Hu's attempt, and in the meantime Wang Huning and Li Jianshu once again said, "Have the bodyguard take him out." At this time, Li Jianshu wanted to stand up to help and escort Hu Jintao in a kidnapping way. Li wasn't going to help Hu Jintao out but was helping deceive Hu Jintao and force him out. Li was stopped by Wang Huning. Then the bodyguard grabbed Hu Jintao firmly. A bodyguard from Zhong Nanhai is very strong and skilled. He grabbed Hu Jintao's arm muscles and held his shoulder still to force him to leave. Hu Jintao turned around trying to talk to Xi. He tapped Xi and said, "I just want to say a few words, and I support you." She responded with a few perfunctory nods. "Ah, okay." Hu Jintao also tapped Li Keqiang's shoulder on the way out. Li Keqiang was too frightened to speak. Then Kong Xiaosun prevented Hu Jintao from keeping tapping other CCP cadres' shoulders, and escorted Hu out of the venue in a way of a combination of deception and kidnap. Hu Jintao was directly taken into custody at the Jingxi Hotel afterwards. Meanwhile, an order was issued to arrest Hu's entire family members, including his wife Lu Yongqing, his son Hu Haifeng, his daughter Hu Haiqing and son-in-law Mao Daolin, his grandson Cui Cui as well as his daughter's daughter, his granddaughter, whose name is Yang Yang. All of them were apprehended. All of them were arrested. A total of over 70 people, including the staff in his son's office, and Hu Jintao's office. Hu Jintao was imprisoned in the former Beijing military command in Ba Dechu for some time. It was last night in mainland China. Hu was taken back to the Jingxi Hotel. the CCP has established the Commission for Political Cases of China, headquartered at the Jingxi Hotel. Wang Huning is the person in charge. Ding Shuexiang is responsible for the trial of specific cases. Now everything about this incident is censored across the entire internet.